Ladies and gentlemen, welcome wrestling fans worldwide to Knoxville and the Great Smoky Mountains for the Ron Fuller, Tennessee Studcast.
6 feet 9 inches tall, 265 pounds.
This historic podcast from one of the most respected and successful wrestlers and promoters will follow the footsteps of the largest and oldest wrestling family on the planet.
Listen to what I'm saying. That's right. Bring that camera in here a little bit closer.
Through 93 years and 4 generations.
The stud has arrived.
Old school or new fan, this unique broadcast will educate and captivate as Ron details decades of professional wrestling's growth with truly unforgettable stories.
I want those people out there at home to hear the stud.
Sit back and enjoy the ride with the Tennessee Stud.
The Tennessee Stud. You will learn that name. You will remember it.
And now,
the stud is here.
Hey everybody, welcome in. It's David Summers hosting another Studcast with the Tennessee Stud, Ron Fuller. This is the story of wrestling in America as told by the Stud, whose family started the profession over 100 years ago. So let's step back into the ring and back into time. Let's get wall-to-wall, tree-top tall with the Tennessee Stud, Ron Fuller. Hey, Stud, I've been waiting since we recorded the last Studcast to hear this one. Today's Studcast will feature a visit to Southeastern Wrestling in 1981 from none other than one of the most recognized humans on the planet, Andre the Giant. I always loved when Andre came to the territory back in the day when I was younger. And like millions worldwide, I could see the eighth wonder of the world right there in real life. And I will never forget, as a small boy, and I saw him later in life too, but as a small kid, I mean, literally, I think I might have been 8 or 9, walking around the corner in the old Houston County Farm Center back in the day. The dressing rooms there was nothing secret about the dressing rooms. Everybody knew where the wrestlers went in and out. But I walked around the corner because I was going to the concession area, which was adjacent to the dressing rooms. And I looked up, and there he stood. It was like, as a kid, it was like, oh my God. There he was. And I will never forget that memory as a small child.
I guess not, man. That's a pretty freaky little deal right there.
Absolutely.
So, you're definitely not alone, Dave, when it comes to Andre the Giant, man. And he was one of the most admired and respected men that ever lived, in my opinion. And imagine what it was like to get up real close and personal in the ring with him. So I don't know if there was ever anyone on earth his size or larger, but I can safely say he was undoubtedly the most recognizable because he wrestled all over the world.
Oh, I'm sure, Stud. You remember last week when you started an Andre story, and then you said you would give us some next week. All right, so I know you have a plan for us today about how much Andre you're going to release and how much information we're going to get. I know you could take up at least 3 hours of talking about him. You proved that almost 8 years ago in your first Super Studcast on Andre the Giant. I might as well let fans know where they can listen to that entire 3 hours because they're going to want more. All right, so if you're not aware, the Andre the Giant Super Studcast is on Ron's tnstud.com website. On Ron's website, tnstud.com, it's only $2.99. It's absolutely amazing. So you got to check it out. All right, but let's get started. Why was Andre in Southeastern for an entire week from Monday, February 23rd of 81 through Sunday, March 1st of 81? And what was the card in all the major markets that week? It had to be huge.
Well, I think we talked a little bit about this in the last cast, about Andre calling me about 6 months earlier before he arrived and asking if I would like to have him for an entire week. That and he kind of explained to me that he very much liked working in our territory, and he would love to be there for a full week. I'd never haven't been able to get him for more than 2 days at a time in a row. So, and he let me know that I should call Vince McMahon Sr. and ask for it. And, and he says, and when he comes and asks me if I want to do it, he says, you know what I'm going to tell him, Ron, right? So, well, obviously we made that happen. So let's talk about the card for the entire week. Andre was going to be scheduled on it. I had only 2 partners. I didn't tell all of my partners. In fact, I only told the partners in the company about his even coming. And I asked them not to tell anybody until the TV show in Dothan, which was going to be 2 days before he arrived.
Okay, wait. I got to get you to do that impression, Ron. Do the impression like he was on the phone asking you to bring him down.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to do plenty of that for you.
All right. I got to make sure that's coming because that's pretty to the T. We've all heard that giant voice. All right. Was that not a little odd, or did you always do that when Andre was coming? Was it always a secret?
No. This is actually the first time. And I did it because he was going to be a mystery partner on the card. In the 4 major towns that week. And I didn't want his opponents to know who the mystery man was until they were told basically for the first time, which was going to be live on the TV show. So I wanted to get their first reaction. I mean, Andre is pretty scary, right? Especially if you've never been in a ring with him. So most wrestlers knew Andre had not been wrestling in any of the territories for quite a while. Because Vince Sr. had wanted him to come back and to work all full time in his own territory. So here on this card, it was the last week of February 1981. Andre arrives. The first match was Jerry Stubbs against Oki Shikina. The returning Ron Slinker was facing the Assassin. Robert Gibson was taking on Stan Lane. For the Southeastern Championship, Paul Orndorff was wrestling the champion, Ron Bass, in a no disqualification match. Then there was the 6-man tag match with the true mystery partner, so far as his opponents, the people he were wrestling against, was Dennis Condrey, Randy Rose, and Masasayo Saito. And they knew they were going up against Bob and Brad Armstrong, but they had no idea who the mystery partner was.
Oh, so it sounds like to me you and the partners were going to have some fun. Those 3 guys probably had no idea Andre was going to be the mystery partner. All right, so I know how I would feel if I had to get in the ring against Andre the Giant. I'd feel like an idiot and wondering, what am I doing here? What did I do?
So all of my partners, except for my brother Rob, who was in Atlanta booking at the time, we were looking forward to the big surprise. Maybe I should say the huge surprise. So the last match on the card was the first lights out match. Anything goes. And this was the first one going to be in Birmingham's history, a lights out match. Jimmy Golden was going to be facing Ken Lucas. And when both wrestlers were in the ring, the announcer asked for the building's lights to be killed, and the fans reacted with a roar, man, when we had these lights out matches. They killed the lights. The lights stayed off for maybe about 10 seconds. And when they came back on, then the announcer, he told the fans what the reason was behind all that the lights being off indicated that this was a lights-out match, which meant it wasn't sanctioned by the National Wrestling Alliance.
I remember you telling about what that meant it's been a while ago when you told about that. But to me, it's funny how just that small introduction to the match had such an effect on fans. I remember being there for a lights-out deal and going, oh, wait, what's happening here? All right, but that was a great card, really, no doubt. 3 great opening matches, a Southeastern title match, a 6-man tag with Andre the Giant, and a lights-out, anything-goes match to end the night. So how did this last TV show in the February rating period get started?
Well, Charlie and Les opened it up, announcing a stacked and packed show, which it really was. Almost all the stars on the TV show are going to be seen in the 6 videos that we're going to be talking about during this Studcast. The last match was going to be for the Alabama championship with the champion, Masao Saito, against Bob Armstrong.
All right, so it sounds like you loaded it up for the last week of the TV rating period, which is obviously a smart idea. No wonder your TV ratings were through the roof. So who was in the first match? Set that up for us.
Well, it opened up with Ron Slinker in his first TV match since returning to the territory. He'd been gone basically for more than a year out of the territory, but it didn't take long to finish off his opponent and get back to the dressing room. And in the short time he had been back, he had already had a little run-in with Jimmy Golden. So, the fans had seen him prior to this, but this was his first shot on TV. And this is where we start with our first video of this Studcast. Jimmy Golden, all decked out, joined Charlie and Les at the set to watch a recent match of his against Ken Lucas.
All right, and let's go to our producer, Brian, who's going to set that video up.
Wrestling coming out to join us now, Jimmy Golden. Golden, of course, drawing quite a bit of fire from many wrestlers. We have some videotape of a match in which you went against Ken Lucas. Let's roll that tape if we can.
I'm going to tell you something. That sleeper hold, so-called sleeper hold that Ken Lucas just used there on Oklahoma is a chokehold. None other than a chokehold and ought to be barred. I'm going to tell you something. I've destroyed the Tennessee Stud, and I'm going to destroy Ken Lucas. Right here, I'm putting him away, brother. I'm boxing his jaws. He's bleeding like a sup hog, and I'm going to whip his hind end real good for you, Ken Lucas, before it's all over with. I'm going to tell you that right now. What's the matter, Lucas? You can't stand a little blood coming out of your face? Now, if you look at him right here, the man hitting me in the face and the nose and the eyes, biting me in the face. Can you imagine that? Is that supposed to be professional wrestling? Lucas don't know what professional wrestling is all about. The man right there in the red trunks does.
Jimmy, certainly you did hurt the Tennessee Stud, Ron Fuller, but because of that, you've got men like Ken Lucas and a lot of them breathing down your neck. Everybody wants a shot at Jimmy Golden.
Ron Slinker, he stuck his big nose into it, and I'm going to chop his nose off. People's been writing and calling, where's the Tennessee Stud? The Tennessee Stud ain't no more. He's not here anymore. There's only one stud, the super stud, Jimmy Golden.
Excuse me, let me interrupt you. I believe Ron Bass just handed you something outside the ring there.
Bass, I didn't see him hand me nothing. Bass was just there trying to tell the referee what Lucas was doing. You see him right here.
There he is,
Lucas,
back in the ring again.
Supposed to be over. Now he's trying to fight Ron Bass. He's done jumped on Ron Bass for no reason at all, man. He thinks he can beat 2 men at one time. He can't beat me. He can't beat nobody. He's a has-been. He's washed up.
Well, Bass has no business actually at ringside, Jim, nor in the ring, for that matter.
What do you mean he's got no business at
Well, it was a match
He was
between
trying
you
to
and...
tell the referee what was happening, man. Now, right here, you're going to see this geek jerk Ron Slinker come into the ring and stick his big fat nose into something that doesn't belong. Slinker, I'm going to tell you something, boy. You're going to get hurt real bad. Look at him right here.
Hey, man, wait a minute now. Let me tell you something. You're a backstabber, a liar, and I'm going to take care of you right now. If you want a piece of me in the ring right now.
This boy has got something coming to him. He's been needing it a long time, and I'm fixing to get it for him right now. Boy, you've made a mistake tonight. Yeah.
Golden getting help from the blind side as Ron Bass bails into the ring, and Ron Slinker is in a 2-on-1 situation. They're setting him up here. Ken Lucas coming in the ring. Lucas going to work on Golden and Bass. Being caught in that sweeper, Golden trying to grab Bass and pull him free. Staring at Lucas's eyes now. Golden gets Bass free, and they head for the dressing room. It was Slinker coming out, challenging Golden, and there you see the way Golden operates again. Help from Ron Bass. Bass bailing right in there. Slinker
thought he had Golden one-on-one, but that was not the case. Ken Lucas out to help Ron Silver. We'll be back in just a moment.
Well, it looks like Ron Bass got involved in Golden's match before Ron Slinker. I guess that's why Lucas and Golden were headed for a lights-out, non-sanctioned NWA match the following week.
Yeah, it certainly was, man. And earlier in the day, both men had made interviews for the upcoming match. And I want to apologize basically for the blurry video in this interview. We're about to show an interview now between these two guys, Jimmy Golden and obviously Ken Lucas. And I want to apologize. This is a little blurry, but to me, it's the content of what we watch here is the most important thing. And I hope everybody will just bear with us here, because we're talking about 44 years since these things have been seen, basically.
Yeah, let's dust this one off and get our buddy Brian to set that one up for us.
Once again, that tickets go on sale for that big card featuring Andre the Giant Monday morning at 9 a.m. at the Boutwell box office. With me, Ken Lucas. And on Monday night in Boutwell Auditorium, he'll be in a lights-out match against Jimmy Golden. It's non-sanctioned by Southeastern Wrestling or the National Wrestling Alliance. Anything goes, and it should be quite a fray. Before we talk to Kenny about it, let's hear from Jimmy Golden.
Can you imagine that Ken Lucas? Ladies and gentlemen, do you realize that man is shaking in his shoes? He is sweating. He is saying, Lord of mercy, what have I went and done? I've got myself in a lights-out match with Jimmy Golden. That mean wrestling machine, Jimmy Golden. Let me tell you something, Lucas, baby. There ain't no backing out now, right, Tennessee Stud? You see this man right here, the ex-partner, he ain't with us no more. And that's what's going to happen to you in Birmingham, boy. This is going to be like taking candy away from a baby in a lights-out match. They're going to turn the lights out and turn it back on. And then when we get in the ring, that means that I can do anything that I want to do. And I'm going to eat you alive, boy, in Birmingham. I'm going to destroy, annihilate that little short, stubby Ken Lucas.
On one side of the coin, Jimmy Golden can do anything he wants, but Ken, on the other side of the coin, you can do the same.
Well, if guys like that talk, most of the world champions left. You've got to back up things in the ring. And this is a lights-out match, just like Mr. Golden said. The lights will be turned on and they'll be turned off. And when they come back on, Mr. Golden may not look too good. Because you know something, Jimmy, you've rough-shotted a lot of guys around here. The Tennessee Stud, you got Robert Fuller, you've got a lot of Mr. Wrestling, but you're not going to get Ken Lucas. And I'm going to come there with both barrels loaded. And Jimmy, let me tell you one thing. You've known me for a long time. You see me up and down the highways. I used to be your friend at one time. I've lost a lot of respect for you, Jim. And when it comes down to that part of it, man, I'm going in there to do one thing, and that's to beat you any way I can. So if you want to come there and you want to wrestle, fine. If you want to street fight, fine. But with this lights-out match, anything goes, and I'm planning to go in there, and I'm going to plant 5 right down your teeth, my man.
Monday night, Birmingham's Boutwell Auditorium, a lights-out match. Lucas against Golden, plus Bass against Orndorff for the Southeastern title, and 7'4" Andre the Giant joins the Armstrongs against Saito, Condrey, and Rose.
Okay, Ron, I want to remind fans these lights-out matches were taking place in all 4 of the major markets. All right, so what was next on the TV show?
Well, Paul Orndorff was actually wrestling in the next match. His tag team championship partner, Norvell Austin, was out of action, got injured by Condrey and Rose immediately after Orndorff and Austin won their belts on the TV in the last television show. So Paul was getting a single match on TV, which he won easily, and he was on his way to a second try at winning the Southeastern belt from Ron Bass. This time it's going to be a no disqualification match. So the next video is the interview for that upcoming match.
All right, and here goes Brian. He's going to set that one up for us.
And it is a super card indeed. Monday night, Boutwell Auditorium. Tickets go on sale Monday morning at 9 a.m. at the Boutwell box office. With me, Paul Orndorff. And on Monday night in Boutwell Auditorium, he'll be going after the Southeastern Heavyweight Champion, Outlaw Ron Bass. It is a no disqualification match. So it's going to be a tough one right down the line. Before we talk to the challenger, let's hear from the champion.
Mr. Paul Orndorff, I'm going to have to tell you something, Paul. You were kind of a disappointment to me here last week, son. We were going for the Southeastern title, and you had to go out there. It got just a little tough on you, so you had to chicken out. You had to get yourself deliberately disqualified, Paul Orndorff. Well, I'm going to tell you something. This week it ain't going to happen. The no disqualification rule has been waived. If you want to go out there and chicken out on me, son, it don't matter. I can still do whatever I want to do to you, Orndorff, and I assure you that I will. I will do anything I've got to do to keep this title, Orndorff, because I'm going to beat Harley Race.
And of course, Paul, that's one of the keys. The man who's wearing that belt in 4 weeks is the man to wrestle world champion Harley Race.
That's very true. First of all, let me clear up one thing. The fans out there know exactly what Ron Bass did. He deliberately got himself disqualified so he could keep that belt. Well, I'll tell you what, justice has prevailed again because Don Curtis, the promotions here, have seen fit for me to have a match with, another return match with Ron Bass for a no DQ for that belt, which means if he deliberately tries to get himself DQ'd, he will lose that belt and I will be the new champion. Now, everybody knows that Harley Race is going to be here in 4 weeks. Right?
Right.
The rush is on. Everybody's out for that Southeastern belt. And I'll tell you what, I'm out for it too. I want that belt very bad because I got a lot of things to prove to a lot of people in this world. Because I'm sure the fans out here would love to see somebody that's worthy to have that belt than somebody like Ron Bass to be the world champion. I'm sure they would like somebody like that myself or Brad Armstrong or Bob Armstrong or Novell Austin. Well, I'm going out for one thing, Ron Bass. I'm coming out to get that belt one way or the other.
Monday night, Birmingham's Boutwell Auditorium, the Southeastern title at stake. It is no disqualification as outlaw Ron Bass battles Paul Orndorff. A night of wrestling.
Okay, I remember Paul Orndorff was really becoming popular by this point, and Ron Bass made a great opponent for him. All right, set up the personality profile. Who was on that, Stud?
Well, this one was all about that six-man tag where the team of Dennis Condrey, Randy Rose, and Masao Saito still had no idea who the mystery partner of Bob and Brad Armstrong was. And so they were asking the questions again about who the mystery partner was right before the interview even started. But we still didn't tell them. Me and Bob, we were going to get some fun out of this. And we had waited we had waited 6 months for it, basically, to have this fun.
All right, Ron, it sounds like you guys were dead serious about this rib. I mean, no doubt. For fans, that's what wrestlers called the little jokes between them, ribs. Except this one was a giant one. All right, I can't wait to see how this rib turns out. All right, so Brian, our producer, is going to play the most unusual personality profile, and here it is.
Wrestling, our guests today, Randy Rose and Dennis Condrey, the Southeastern Tag Champions, and Mr. Saito, the Alabama State Heavyweight Champion. And, gentlemen, first of all, you have maintained those Southeastern Tag titles for quite some time in this area.
When you speak with a little respect, because you're talking to me and my cuz, the Southeastern Tag Champions, and you're talking to the Alabama Champions, better known as a terrific trio. And there ain't, like he said again, there ain't 3 men in the world that can beat us.
I think,
you have any doubt in your mind?
You
have any doubt?
You don't win the doubt, baby. You two gentlemen and Mr. Saito have had this personal grudge against both Bob and Brad Armstrong for quite some time now.
Well, you call it grudge, you call it what you want. But we're going to we've already took out the little kid with the broken ribs, and we took out the old man with a head concussion on the back of the noggin.
Last week on this program,
right or wrong?
Well,
is that what you call elimination?
They're both in competition.
We could be called the eliminators. You can call us what you want, but call us good. Right, Chuck? That's exactly right. You know, Mr. Platt, I've been a wrestling profession now for about 6 or 7 years, and I've been involved in some pretty bitter feuds. Now, these Armstrong boys, I would personally like to shake Bob Armstrong's hand. Yeah, that's what I like to do. I like to shake his hand. Because right here on this TV last week, I hit a home run with his hand. I knocked him all over the left field fence, baby. I hit over the back of his shoulders. Now, the man didn't get to wrestle that night. I understand he didn't get to wrestle for a couple of more nights. So I understand it's tight now. That's good. That's fine. That's dandy. That's exactly what we want. Because Armstrong, like we told you, we're going through a process of elimination. No matter how long it takes, no matter how long you take to dish it out, we're going to dish out punishment every night until you are through. You could say instead of scrambling eggs, we scrambled his brain a little bit. Casey went to bat last week, he may go to bat today.
Well, the problem seems to be that any time, whether it's single or tag team action, that You two are involved in a match with Brad or Bob Armstrong. The match gets totally out of hand, and before everything is over, a third element comes into the ring, and that is the Alabama State Heavyweight Champion,
Well,
Mr.
it's like you said, a process of elimination. We call it ABC. If our A plan don't work, we go to B. If our B plan don't work, we go to C.
Well, upcoming here in the Southeastern Wrestling area, there is going to be a six-man tag team match in which you and Dennis Condrey, Mr. Saito will be one team, Bob and Brad Armstrong will be on the other team, and they have a mystery partner. They are standing by in another studio right now, and let's switch to Bob and Brad Armstrong.
You know, for the past few weeks, all over the southeastern area, right here on television and live matches, the terrific trio, as they call themselves, Condrey, Rose, and Saito, have dished out a lot of punishment to Brad and Bob Armstrong. I suffered a concussion. I walked sideways for 3 days. They got a big laugh out of that. I had dizzy spells. That was funny to them, but believe me, it's not too funny when you're on the receiving end. They cracked my son's ribs. After that, a week later, they sent him out while he was still bandaged up. They sent Saito out to bust him up good. They've chosen every opportunity. They salted me down, knocked me down, kicked me around. They've done everything they could to knock us off the pedestal and get us out of pro wrestling, out of the southeastern area. And they've come real close. But, you know, I've always said you don't measure a man by his size, it's by his heart, and we've come back. We're hurting, sure. I'm going to be the first to admit that I've been hit by so many karate chops from that Saito. He's changed my voice 3 times in the last month. But, you know, the thing is that everything comes to an end. Every dog has his day. Retribution is at hand. And I'm standing out here today a happy man. I am tickled plumb to death, me and Brad both, because in this 6-man tag, we finally got even. We're going to get down. Things are going to get done. Now, we've kept this a secret. We've said mystery partner, and right now, I want to show everybody who the mystery partner is. If you'll just come with me, just a few feet away, stands the biggest of them all, boys, a AAA combination. Armstrong, and Andre, the biggest man in the world today. A man with a foot that can sit on 3 faces, just push them in the mat. And when we come in this 6-man tag, table's going to turn. The worm will turn, brother. What goes around comes around. And what will be going around is your head spinning on top of your body. Because 7 foot 4, 564 pounds, plus another couple of A's, we're going for A night, boy. Andre, we're coming 6-man tag. Read it and weep. There he is, boys. And when it's all over with, the AAA boys, Armstrong, and Andre, are going to make Saito, Condrey, and Rose the 3 Stooges.
What is it? He's not supposed to be there, partner. What is this? No, baby, we're not going for it. Hey, there's no way. Is this some kind of trick? Did you set this up?
No. That is set up by Mr. Bob Armstrong.
I'm not going to answer the giants. I don't know.
Andre the Giant will be.
We don't have to go for this. We don't have to stand for this. Let me tell you something, Charlie Plant. We knew he was going to be there, but he's not going to be there, partner. I guarantee you something. When a cuz gets in there, we're going to stomp him down.
Seems that the Armstrongs have the biggest partner they could obtain in professional wrestling, 7'4". Andre the Giant, the 8th.
All right, that was great. I think they were really concerned about getting in the ring with one Andre the Giant. I would have liked to have been there to see how the 3 of them really reacted when that profile was over. All right, so what was next in this TV show that was getting better and better as it went along?
Well, all 3 of the tag match heels were in the last 2 matches this show, and they had pretty much had the spotlight there in the profile, and now Condrey and Rose were going to be in a tag match immediately after that. And after that personality profile that was done earlier, they were charged up a little bit more than ever for their TV match, and they left both opponents laying. Basically, they got so charged up, they just went out there and killed 2 poor guys, because they were thinking about Andre. And so those guys, we had to carry those boys back to the dressing room. They got them so bad.
I tell you, this TV was stacked and packed, as you described it earlier. All right, so what was next?
Well, we had a little more time. So that we could spend on the six-man tag at this point, and sometimes we watch your TV show, and you had to go to the very end to make things work out right. So we popped in another 2-minute interview there. We had an opportunity, and we wanted to give both of the two teams that were in this six-man tag another opportunity to basically get another shot at promoting this Andre's return to Southeastern.
All right, I can't wait to see this one. Maybe Condrey, Rose, and Saito were going to show some things different in this one. I'm not sure about that, though. All right, Brian is going to set up the next interview. Here we go.
Joining these two gentlemen, Bob and Brad Armstrong, as their partner in a six-man tag on Monday night, Birmingham's Boutwell Auditorium. Before I talk to Bob and Brad, let's hear from their opponents, Condrey, Rose, and Saito.
You think you pulled a slick one, don't you, Armstrong? You think you went out and got the biggest man in professional wrestling, thinking he's going to whoop on our heads in Birmingham. But you're wrong, because when a tree gets in our way, we take a saw and we cut it right down. It's going to fall. Andre has never been off of his feet before, but you're going down in Birmingham. You're going down. And Mr. Saito is going to chop you, baby. He's going to open your head up. Me and my cousin are going to kick booty. Said it before, we'll say it again. There ain't no three men can beat him.
Bob, as a backup man, I can't think of three other guys I'd rather have than this one, Andre.
Boy, they're real excited, aren't they? How many times have I gone down to those three guys, 3-on-1 in Birmingham? How many times have I been salted down, kicked, knocked around? But finally it's come down to 3-on-3, and brother, our partner, ain't no pushover. You'd have to get on a stepladder to push that boy over. And if he throws salt in his eyes, he's going to have to get up on that top ring post and throw that salt up. Because we come into Birmingham finally to do the job. You've been doing the job, but you didn't do it. You've been doing it on me, and you've been doing it on Brad. Every time we turn around, we've heard that no men in the world can beat those three. Well, we pulled a good one right, we pulled a good one. And in Birmingham, we're going to pull another good one because you boys are going down. Salt, karate, kung fu, boogaloo, I don't care what it is. In Birmingham, you will go down, the three of you. Not just one, not two, but all three of you, boy. Because if we get you down and Andre lays on you, he can cover all three of you. And if he comes off that top rope on you, they'll have to dig you out of that mat, boy, because you will be planted in that mat in Birmingham.
Bob, Brad, and Andre against Condrey, Rose, and Saito, Monday night in Boutwell.
All right, Stud, you know what? I believe the heels had time to get up their guts before this interview was cut. They were definitely more confident, but Bob took the prize when it came to laying down the law, and he definitely did. He sold some extra tickets in that interview. He was that good. After everything else fans had seen, Masa Saito was now going to be defending his Alabama championship belt against the former holder of that title, the Bob Armstrong. All right, so that was a main event anywhere in the world, but in Southeastern, it was happening on TV. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct, Dave. I mean, not many people got to see these type of things on television, and I hate to say it, but this match came from one of the worst tapes we have, but they like I said in the last one, man, these matches had such great content, and this match in particular, man, has I guess I'd call it a frightening finish, man. It's an unbelievable finish. So I just had to let the fans see this. I want to let you know up front, though, it's a little bit blurry, but wow, it's very affecting.
Yeah, let's see how it affects us. And here we go. Brian, our producer, is going to set that one up right now.
This is an Alabama state championship match. Introducing the challenger in the corner to my left at 228 pounds from Marietta, Georgia, Bob Armstrong. The champion at 245 pounds from Tokyo, Japan, Mr. Saito. And no doubt on who the crowd favorite is here, Bob Armstrong. Here's on Saito. It's the first championship match of championship month.
Exactly, Charlie. The Alabama State Island State, the champion, Mr. Saito. Bob Armstrong in the challenger. Nice leg shift. Taken down by Saito. Armstrong hooks him, takes it over. These men have met before. No love lost here. A volatile situation. We've got it here on television. Championship month. Armstrong The wrist lock takedown into the Saito right back up. And of course, not as an only catch-as-catch-can style wrestling, but both men versed in the martial arts. Saito feels that Armstrong's a disco dancer. And John Travolta, look out, because if this is disco, you're out of your league.
Saito with the front chancery. Armstrong trying to move his way out. That's where that strength in those arms come in handy right now, Les.
We can't forget the strength in the grip of Mr. Saito. Both men using a version of sleeper. And Armstrong right now with the armbar applying the pressure. Saito, a man built like a fire plug, a hard one to handle with a lot of power. Good leg strip. Traps that left leg, but Armstrong using the right leg. Comes down with a guillotine-like blow across the head of Saito.
Side headlock with takedown. Head scissors by Arms. Tell you what, I've noticed on defense for Bob Armstrong, he's not giving Saito any chance to grab hold of that grip.
Both ways here, Charlie. I was just about to say, neither man has settled down with his offense yet. Both men moving fast, moving well. And, of course, television time much shorter than a normal hour time limit in a heavyweight championship match. So the challenger is put in a position he's got to go and go quick. The Saito is not just defensing. He's moving in. He's really aggressive as well. Nice fireman carry takedown into the armbar. And the man from Japan in control in the driver's seat now. He hangs onto the arm of Bob Armstrong.
Bob Armstrong looking for some means of escape.
Most definitely Armstrong has that speed going for him. Both men have similar submission holds, finishing holds, whatever you want to call them, the sleeper. Right now it is the power. The Japanese fire plug. Mr. Saito controlling offensively. Armstrong breaks free, comes up, hooks his man, and right out is the Japanese gentleman. Collar and elbow. No. Armstrong grabs the head. Saito in low with a waist lock now. Saito, when a surprise move, went in awfully low, and he has arms up. Applying that pressure.
Saito looking to hold Armstrong in. But there again, Les, both men moving quickly.
That leg sweep. Saito in good stead 3 times throughout this contest so far. The chop by the champion again.
But Armstrong fires back. Bob Armstrong firing it again against the Alabama State heavyweight champion. This is championship match. The ring official in the way of action. And Larry Brock is knocked down. Armstrong out of the ring.
He started to sit on that second rope, lost his balance, and fell through. He was dazed. And look here. He's blocking the chop attempt by Saito. Armstrong goes for his sleeper. Just conjuring with a board over the head of Bob Armstrong. That board splintered, Charlie. You could hear the thud over here, and the board splintered.
Armstrong is out.
No doubt about that. And Saito applies his Japanese sleeper. You can see him dripping in at that carotid artery. And Larry Brock unaware. Wait a minute. Senior referee Tommy Weathers moves in to put a stop to this. What's his call going to be? Horn dog. Brad Armstrong. Ray Harris, Cordell Austin all jump into the ring. Saito's gone. Bob Armstrong is unconscious, Charlie. He was nailed good with that board. The board was splintered.
Here comes the senior referee in the southeastern area. I'm taking it on my own to hold this belt up. I'm not going to sit back and watch something happen.
The official decision by senior referee Tommy Weathers. He has overruled Larry Brock's decision and is holding the belt up, Charlie, at this particular point. And I think it's the right decision on Tommy's part.
Indeed, and we'll be back with more action on Southeastern Champion.
You know what, Ron? We've seen some wild TV matches from the month of February in 1981, but this may have been the wildest one yet. This one ended up with no champion and the Alabama belt held up. So, I mean, that's a tremendous TV show in and of itself. But what happened in the arenas the next week?
Well, Jerry Stubbs in the first match beat Okie Shekina. Stan Lane beat Robert Gibson. Ron Slinker got the best of the Assassin. Paul Orndorff fought Ron Bass all the way back to Bass's dressing room. This was a no disqualification match for the Southeastern Championship before both guys got counted out. And you could not win the belt on a count out. So Bass managed to hang on to a Southeastern belt. Orndorff was pretty upset about how that match finished. And basically there was no winner for it. In the six-man tag, Bob got the pin on Saito. But Condrey and Rose, they managed to get Bob down just at the end of as it happened. And then they were able to throw Andre once they got Bob off of Saito. Then Saito could help them. They all three jumped Andre, threw him over the top rope. They threw Brad over the top rope out onto the floor. Then Condrey and Rose kept them out of the ring, and Saito put his sleeper on Bob again. Two referees, one in the match got knocked down, another one came, he got knocked down. Paul Orndorff and Jerry Stubbs basically had to come from the dressing room. They saved Bob. The next week on the card was going to be Bob and Paul Orndorff, Jerry Stubbs, going to be facing Condrey, Rose, and Saito in another six-man tag. But the following week was going to be one of those good old Southern street fights. And in the lights out match, anything goes. Lucas had his sleeper hold on Golden. Ron Bass came down to the ring, brought his bull rope, nailed the referee from behind. Referee never saw him coming. Neither did Lucas, who had his sleeper hold on Golden, and he nailed Lucas from behind with the steel bell, though. He just hit the referee in the back, but he used the bell to put Lucas out. He put Golden on top of him, and then he ran back to the dressing room, and the referee counted Ken Lucas out. The next week, Lucas was going to be going after Ron Bass in his Southeastern belt, and Robert Fuller was going to be returning to the territory for the first time in quite a while at this point, and he was going to be beating, guess who? Jimmy Golden, face to face, and basically trying to get even for what had happened to the Tennessee Stud.
All right, so it sounds like the making of another great card for the next Studcast. Tell us about attendances. How did you do in the major arenas with the crowd?
Well, everything was a sellout in all the major markets, plus Panama City and Pensacola. Everywhere Andre went that week, it was sold out.
Wow!
All the buildings had maximum seatings capacity available. Birmingham had a huge setup, the biggest since the opening night crowd, and it drew over 7,000 people in a building that was made to handle basically about 6,000. So, I'd spent some time working with the people in Birmingham to make sure that we had the optimum amount of seats that we could put in that building. Mobile was in the big building. We had managed to get that big building for 3 months. Had been sitting there waiting on this night. Had 10,200 people. Sold it out. 5,300 people in Dothan. 5,900 in Panama City.
Wow.
And Pensacola had 6,100.
Wow.
So it was 36,700 in 6 nights. There was an average ticket price of $4 a ticket. And in the course of that entire week, we did almost $150,000 gross.
Holy cow, that's incredible. All right, and remind me again, Ron, you said average $4 a ticket. How much was ringside and how much were general admission seats? Do you remember?
Well, ringsides were, back in those days, I think $6.
Yeah.
General admissions was $5 for adults, and $3 for kids.
Yeah.
So and we probably might have been a little bit more the average ticket price than I had figured out, but the $150,000 gross for the week was just, wow, that's an amazing number there.
All right, and I want to count this up: Mobile, Montgomery, Dothan, Panama City, Pensacola. 5 markets, right?
6. Yes.
All right, which one
6.
did I?
Birmingham.
Birmingham.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Birmingham. 70.
And I went straight through in the order that they were.
Yeah.
Birmingham was on Monday. Mobile ran Tuesday. Montgomery ran Wednesday. Dothan went Friday. Panama went on Thursday nights, and Pensacola was on Sunday always.
Wow. And 7,100 out of the big city in the state of Alabama. That's pretty awesome. All right, Stud, I'm telling you what, this has been one of the best TV shows and Studcast that we've ever had. Maybe the only way you can top it is with some Andre stories. You want to start on that and give us an Andre the Giant story or 2 or 3? Who knows?
Okay, Dave, I tell you what we're going to do, man. Last week in the last Studcast, we talked a little bit at the very end about Andre and the fact that he was flying in on a Monday to start the week. He was going to be here for 7 days, first time ever, and that I went to pick him up from Pensacola by myself, because I wanted to spend some time with him by myself, a little bit of time by myself with him. And so I went to the airport in Birmingham to pick him up, and I had an appointment. I made an appointment with the manager of the building to be able to see him about 5 o'clock, somewhere around 5 o'clock. And so I picked up Andre around 4:30. We drove down to Boutwell Auditorium, which was right downtown Birmingham. In fact, it was separated from an even bigger building across the freeway. Interstate 65 ran between the two buildings, as a matter of fact. And so we normally parked in the back of the building, in which I was basically going to do, but Andre, had never been to the front of the building. And in fact, it was his first time, so I think he kind of wanted to see what the building looked like. And it was about 4:30 in the afternoon, getting close to 5. Some people were getting off of work already, and the sidewalks were just starting to get pretty crowded. And so I pulled up at the front of the building, and there was a spot right there in front of the front door, which was amazing to be able to get that close to the building. And then I was going to take him on around the back of the building, and he says, "No, Ron, I want to stay here." And I was like, "Oh, well, okay. Well, a lot of people here, Andre, and then he says, "I'm going to get in the back." And he opened up the side door on the van. Mm-hmm. And, so you could see him, and you could see all the way through the van. Mm-hmm. And, and at that point, there were people walking down the sidewalk. And immediately, even before I left the van with him, he asked me, he said, "Do you have any tapes, Ron?" And he knew that I had all kinds of different tapes, and I had this Richard Pryor tape.
Oh, like 8-track.
Oh, 8-tracks.
Okay,
yes,
all right.
Back in the day.
And let me ask, was it a sliding door on the van?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Door, slid the door back.
Yeah, gotcha.
And then I started to pull the door to, and he said, "No, Ron. No, leave it open." And I could never figure that out. I thought, well, he don't want to be seen, but that was Andre. That's what he wanted. That's what I gave him.
Yeah.
So, and then I said, he said, I want some music, or I want a tape. I want to listen to a tape. And I brought him 2 or 3 tapes, and then he couldn't. And then he finally said, "Do you have that Richard Pryor?"
Richard Pryor.
Yeah, and Richard Pryor, for those people that may not be familiar with Richard, I mean, he was a little bit nasty with some of his language, and so. Yeah, I was like, oh, well, Andre, I didn't really want him, he's got the door open in the van and everything. And I'm like, wow, this ain't going to be too cool.
Yeah.
So I put it in for him. And he started smiling when I put it in. But then I didn't turn the volume up very loud. And I took off. I wanted to try to get in the building before he could tell me to turn it up. But I didn't make it. And he said, Ron, turn it up. I turned it half up, and that wasn't enough. Turn it up some more.
Yeah.
So that was blaring. You could hear it from a block away, Richard Pryor. And there in the middle of all that noise and all that horrible language that's going on, sat the biggest human on earth, basically. And so there was people immediately started stopping. They were like, they recognized him, or if they didn't, there was enough reason for them to stop, right? Like, wow, what's that all about? So I went in the building, and I was in the building probably for at least 30 minutes. And when I came back out of the building, I couldn't see the van. There must have been 300 people piled up on the sidewalks. They were over in the street on the opposite side of the van. And they were peering through the opposite side windows of the van. I was like, son of a gun. What's going on here? And so I finally fought my way through the crowd, and I got to where Andre was. And he was laughing when he saw me coming. He goes, oh, you like that, Ron? Look at that crowd. I said, well, let's get the one here tonight. I'm more concerned about the one tonight, Andre. I slammed the door too, and I got in the van. I drove us around to the back of the building. I was like, oh, my gosh, what a scene I've created here, man.
Wow.
And Andre just loved it. It was a big joke to him. The whole thing was like, oh, that's just cool.
On all of this in downtown Birmingham.
Oh, yeah, man, 5 o'clock, right downtown. I mean, it was a nasty experience for me, but he loved every bit of it. I mean, he was very pleased with himself, I guess is a good way of putting it. So we went around the building and we sat there. We were there way ahead of time that night. And I think we even sent out, I had a lady there, was a great, she just died recently. And she was her family owned a big building downtown. She was a great wrestling fan. And she went and got us something to eat and brought it back. And so we hung out there for a couple of hours, me and him. So, since because of this, he'd never been there for 7 days at a time, I never got to spend him a heck of a lot of time with him sometimes. And once we left the building, it was about probably 10:30, close to 11 o'clock. And he always wanted to have something to drink. He was a big drinker, right? And the first thing out of his mouth was, he says, Ron, I want some vodka. And I said, you mean vodka? No, vodka, Ron. I want some vodka. And he said, Andre, I said, the liquor stores are closed, man. They close about 10 o'clock, I said, there's no, we're not going to find any of that. So we started down Interstate 65, going from Birmingham south to Pensacola. And I got off every exit, man. I finally found a place that had beer and they had wine, right? So I was like, gosh, man, I was upset that I didn't think ahead of time to get him a big bottle of vodka, but so he went in anyway, and everywhere he went, it was amazing, I mean, there was suddenly the place was packed, everybody wanted to see him, and the guy, oh, look at that, man. It's huge. How big he is and all that. And so the guys, and there was I took a couple of guys with us, a couple of guys in the crew back with us in the van, so he'd have somebody more to talk to at that point. And so they went in, they bought beer, and then Andre didn't come back to the deal. I'm like, well, what's he doing in there? What's he doing? And then finally here he came, man. He had this huge box with him, and he had 5 gallons of Mogan David wine, and in that box,
5 gallons.
5 gallons
Wow.
of wine, and he set it down in the middle of my my vehicle, man. And I was like, whoa, Andre. I said, do you think you drink all that? And it's going to take us about 3.5 hours to get home. Can you drink all that? And he says, I don't have enough here, Ron.
Oh, my God.
I
Wow.
was like, oh, please. I guess he had the last 5 gallons of wine they had in there.
Wow.
So here we went, man, down the road to Pensacola. And when I got there, I had him set up into a really nice hotel. Holiday Inn was right there on the beach. And the great thing about it, these people, he'd never stayed there. I'd never put him in that place before, but it was beautiful weather. I mean, we were right there at the first part of March. We had a really nice week for the entire week that he was there. And the temperature was good. He could go to the beach every day. And by the time he left there, they were crazy about Andre. They were just absolutely nuts about Andre. Those people, they were going to let him do it. They let him come free. They wouldn't even charge him for a room.
Right.
When he came back after that, because he was so polite, always so polite to people, and he drew a crowd for him all the time, and they had an outside bar. So, that bar stayed full whenever Andre went to the bar, which was pretty often.
Wow.
And he stayed a long time. So, anyway, I had a really unusual idea for advertising in Pensacola. I used to do it in Panama City as well.
Mm-hmm.
I used to rent those airplanes and put the banner on the back.
Oh, yeah.
On Saturdays and Sundays, the day before and maybe the day of for sure. I always flew the banner, and the banner would say something like "Wrestling Tonight." Auditorium, which was that everybody knew the downtown auditorium where it was, and just a way to advertise to all this massive crowds. Well, you know why that is? You're down there in that part of the country, Dave, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, in early in March, and you got a beautiful Sunday. You got how many people on the beach, right?
Oh, yeah.
50,000 maybe.
Yeah. Or
and,
more.
Yeah. And you've got that long beach in Panama too. Had the long beach in Pensacola too. And so the plane would fly. He'd fly over through, and then he would come around and go again. So this time I wanted to really get him. I wanted to do something special for him.
Mm-hmm.
So he'd never seen anything like this anyway. So while we went down, me and my wife, we went over and we spent the afternoon with him on Sunday. And the first plane that came by, I said, I went to the place where I got my planes and hired planes. And I said, I want to have a second plane. And they said, well, yeah, what do you want on that? Mm-hmm. I said, put on there, welcome Andre the Giant.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we went out on the beach, right? And, and they didn't fly the planes back to back real close together.
Right.
So the first plane that came down the beach was, that said, welcome, Andre the Giant. And he went nuts. He was like, Ron, look at that. They love me here, Ron. They love me here. And I said, sure, they love you, Andre. Of course they do. Gosh, look at that. I love it, man. So I was like, basically I got Andre for a lot more days after that by showing he has his own private little banner going down the beach.
Wow.
Then later on the other plane came and then he says, Ron, he goes, you are a smart man. He goes, and we were on an area of the beach area, and that the beaches, and then I'm sure you would Pensacola too, as well as Panama City.
Yeah.
You got all those hotels all in a row right there.
Yeah.
The crowd was massive around where we were.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody it seemed like half the people on the beach were within 200 yards of us, right? It was he was just a magnet for human beings. I mean, people just could not believe what he looked like and he was just a really, really, it was a wonderful thing. Opportunity for me and all the other wrestlers, be honest with you, not just me, but for all of us that had that guy in the business and how big a star he was and how much money he made, not only himself, but all of us as well.
And Ron, I want to mention, he was such an icon. I mean, he had been on the Johnny Carson show. I mean, any way that he could have been promoted had been done. And then when he saw the plane flying over with his name on it, it was one of those things that he had not seen. And he knew you went the extra mile to promote his visit. And it's like you said, the word spreads like wildfire. Did you see Andre the Giant? I saw Andre the Giant. Where was he? Where was he? And so it just spreads up and down that beach, and just one of those.
They come and they came. I mean, it was like crazy. You'd look down the beach and there'd be hundreds coming at a time, and then they just back up. It couldn't get close enough, and it just. We had the beach. I mean, 50% of the people on Pensacola Beach was behind the Holiday Inn. No wonder they gave him rooms for free.
Yeah, did he have was he in a room with a balcony? What was it like?
Oh, they gave him the best room they had. I mean, and I went in and I told them who was coming. And I said, I want to get a room for Andre the Giant. And they were like, the wrestler? And I said, yeah. I want to put Andre the Giant in here, right? And I said, and I want you guys to take care of him. And they went nuts when they found out he was coming. They was crazy right then. Like, are you serious? Like, for a week, for a whole week? Yeah, for a whole week. And I want him, when he leaves here, to be really ecstatically happy with you guys. Yeah, what y'all have done. So I went ahead and paid for a whole week, that first week in advance, because I knew I was going to keep him there the whole time. Yeah. When they came back after that, it was really funny. I went over to see him again the next time he came, and I said, I want to get a room for Andre, and I started digging in my pocket, and they went, absolutely not. Yeah. Are you serious? Is he coming for a week? Yeah. I said, well, I never got him for a week after that. It's the only time I ever got him for that long. But, wow, that hotel, they took care of him. They loved him, man.
Wow. Awesome. Wow, that's awesome. Okay. All right. I got no words to describe not only that week that you had in 1981, but your close friendship with one of the most famous people that ever lived, literally. And that sounds crazy to say that, but that's absolutely the truth. I don't think was any place in the world you could have dropped him off in China and people would have just gravitated to him like a giant magnet. I love doing these Studcasts. All right, Ron, what a great job. Any final words on that?
Well, yeah. I guess I took Andre, man, to the Pensacola airport on the Monday, March the 2nd, 1981. Yeah. But and for him to fly, I don't think I even asked him where he was going, but he was going somewhere else in the world to wrestle. Yeah. And I gave him, Dave, his payoff. I didn't give him a nightly payoff. I gave him his payoff for the week.
How much?
I gave him $10,000 in cash.
Wow.
For his 6-day week. And I've already done the figures, Dave. That was $35,000 in today's money.
Whoa.
For that 1 week. So, he left a happy man.
Yeah, no doubt. And when you go back and you look at the figures that you gave us earlier on how many people, how many butts and seats you had in let me count it, Birmingham, Mobile, Montgomery, Dothan, Panama City, and Pensacola, 6 locations. And I think you said almost $150,000 gross for the week. It was easy to hand him $10,000.
Yes, man.
Wow. Wow.
And then a little bit of it had to go to Vince. In
of course.
Florida.
Yeah.
Vince had a little bit of it coming himself.
Vince Sr.,
it was a great deal for the territories.
Yeah.
Vince Sr. Now, Junior would have never done that.
No.
But Vince Sr. was a different man than his son. A lot better man than his son, I got to say. And, Vince deserved it. Vince did that. It wouldn't have been really all just the goodness of his heart, but basically he didn't have to do what he did when he basically gave everybody Andre just like he got him.
Well, Ron, I got to say your Andre stories and the friendship between the you two has brought so many great stories and to me just some of the funnest in the Studcast. And again, I want to mention the first ever Super Studcast was about the one and only Andre the Giant. And remind me, 2 hours or 3 hours long? How much?
It's about 3 hours. It's almost 3 hours.
For $2.99, go to tnstud.com, tnstud.com, and get the full, a lot of information, 3 hours worth about Andre the Giant. And I remember that Super Studcast, and to me, it was absolutely one of the best. Great job, Stud.
Thank you very much, my man. And I want to thank everybody else as well, man, especially those that have chosen to support me and this new streaming channel that we have up, TennesseeStudStreaming.com. And please take care of yourselves and others, and may God bless us all.
For Ron Fuller in the Great Smoky Mountains, I'm David Summers saying thank you for listening. Find me on Facebook at facebook.com/dsummers955. On Twitter, X, it's Dave_Doin. On Instagram, it's Instagram.com/David Summers Productions. And hit me up anytime at DavidSummersProductions@gmail.com. This Studcast is a David Summers production for Tennessee Stud, LLC.
Thanks for joining us today for this historic Studcast. The true story continues next week. So full Nelson your friends and point them in our direction for another ride with the Tennessee Stud.
1, 2, 3.
This is David Summers saying so long from the Great Smoky Mountains.